What happens when an artist goes beyond music to truly touch someone's life? Today I'm sharing a deeply emotional story of how Elvis Presley made an unforgettable impact on an 8-year-old fan battling leukemia, and why his kindness continues to inspire us all. Hi everyone, welcome back to Hidden Minds, where we explore the untold and heartfelt stories behind Elvis Presley's life and legacy. Before we begin, I want to give a special thank you to someone who reached out to me via email. This person, who wishes to remain anonymous, shared these incredible stories and videos about Elvis's generosity. And their support has truly inspired today's video. Thank you, you know who you are. Our first story takes us back to 1972 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where Elvis met an 8-year-old girl named Denise Sanchez. Denise was fighting a brave battle with leukemia, a journey that had already cost her a leg and a part of her hip. Despite her struggles, Denise found hope and joy in Elvis's music. Her mother, determined to create a special moment for her, worked with the local newspaper to arrange something extraordinary. Tickets to Elvis's concert and a chance to meet him in person. When Elvis met Denise, he was deeply moved by her courage and strength. During his performance that night, he dedicated Love Me Tender to her and later sang You Gave Me a Mountain, a song that resonated with her family's struggles. Although this moment was captured by photographers and even filmed by MGM's on-tour cameras, it didn't make the final cut of the documentary. Sadly, Denise passed away just a few months later. But her family will always treasure that evening, a testament to Elvis's kindness and compassion.
Just be a little girl at leukemia coming out.
Brett, introduce the lady there. Tell them about it. Go in a little farther, Red.
Great shot of his back. This is Colonel, this is impossible.
Whichever one you want.
Whichever one you
Danny, look over here. No, look at him, look at him.
I'm not going to tell you which one you want to do, okay? Just surprise.
Special. What's your favorite song?
There you go.
Oh. Thank you so much, so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You happy now? Come on. Calm down.
Denise's story is one of the many that reveal the depth of Elvis's heart. Joe Moscheo, a member of Elvis's band, often spoke about the little moments that defined Elvis's kindness. In the interview titled A Short Story About Love, Joe recalled how Elvis always took time to help people. Whether it was lending an ear, offering advice, or making sure his friends and fans felt valued. These stories show a side of Elvis that goes beyond the stage and spotlight.
Yeah, I know we're talking about love songs, and which are obvious. You know, they're love songs to from a man to a woman, and it's about love and it's about passion. But Elvis took it further than that. I think in his mind, there are a lot of ways to express your love, and Elvis was very, very. He was very. When he loved and he was generous. He was very personal. If you'll notice, if you saw That's the Way It Is, somebody was sick in the group, you know, and he came over to the girls and knelt down with them and asked about them. How's so and so doing, and how's she feeling, and is there anything I can do? He was so generous and so. He had such compassion and feelings for his. If it was a friend, if it was one of the family members, you know how he was with his mother and his dad, how much he loved his mom and his dad. I mean, it was so obvious in everything that he did. But there's something that he did every year that I don't think a lot of people know about, and he never got any publicity on it because he didn't want it. But every year he took $100,000 at Christmas time. 100,000 is, a lot of money, but to him it didn't seem like a lot of money, obviously. And he would have like an open house at his house at Graceland. And if you came up and had a good story, I mean, he'd write you a check. I need $1,000 he'd write you a check for $1,000. I mean, it would be 1,000, or 5,000 to 10,000, and he gave to a lot of charities in Memphis. To the boys club or to the whatever. And he just wrote out checks, $100,000 every year, and gave the money away. And people knew this, so they'd start lining up, and he'd write them a check. It was just unbelievable. And honestly, nobody knew that. But I mean, don't you think that's love? I mean, this is love for your fellow man. This is love, compassion, and it's a different kind of love. But he felt it, and he had it. And he was so generous with us guys. I mean, you can't believe what the gifts he gave us and how much he would come in and he'd hug your neck and show a side of him that you never knew. I mean, I gave him a Bible one time, and he hugged me, and he pushed his forehead against mine, and he said, "This means so much to me." He probably had 100 Bibles, I think that is a part of the love and this love story with Elvis that I think is so important. To prove that how he cared for people, I'm a friend, on the periphery, really. But we were, this thing happened in Las Vegas probably in 1970. We were up in the suite after the second show when we were standing around the piano singing. It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. And one of the bodyguards comes up to me. Sonny came up and whispered in my ear and said, "Your wife is on the phone." I said, "Well, that's strange. It's 3 o'clock in the morning." But my wife and my family, my children, my 4 children and my wife were back in a motel that we lived in when we were in Las Vegas, which is way off campus from where Elvis lived in the hotel. So anyway, we had a little apartment there, and the kids would go out in the summertime and enjoy Las Vegas in the summer. And so anyway, they were back in the hotel sleeping. But my wife called and said, "You need to come back because our house in Nashville has been broken into." Now, we're in Las Vegas. Our house in Nashville has been broken into. She's panicking. Imagine that they broke all the windows and stole everything. And so I didn't want to make a big scene because Elvis was there with his friends having a good time. And I told one of the guys, I said, "I need to go." So I snuck out the door, and I was standing at the elevator on the 30th floor at the penthouse. and there were two security guards there. And I was visiting with them while I was waiting for the elevator. And Elvis comes bursting out of his penthouse apartment there and says, "Moscheo, where are you going?" I said, "I have to go, Elvis. I got a little family problem." What's the matter? And by then, everybody that was in there is now out in the hallway, you know, and they're surrounding. And I just, you know, I got a little problem. What is it? Well, my house back in Nashville has been broken into, and I'm going to go. My wife is crying and upset, and so I'm going to go see what's wrong. He said, "Well, I'm going with you." He said, "We're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to take care of it for you." I said, "No, it's okay, really, Elvis. I mean, I got it covered." And the guys are panicking, you know, because Elvis now, he's looking for some adventure. And so he starts giving everybody orders. "Get the plane ready. We're going to Nashville, and get my credentials and get my, you know, and everybody get my coat." And so pretty soon everybody's reacting. And before you know it, I go down the elevator, and there's 4 white limousines out there. And Elvis and all his entourage go in these limousines. I'm driving my little car that I had rented, you know, and I'm leading them to this little motel. It was embarrassing. I mean, really. And so my wife is in this little motel called the Bali High Motel in Las Vegas, if it could be any worse. And my kids are in another room sleeping. I thought they were sleeping. So we go down the alley behind the motel, and I showed them the way to go through like this little passageway, and we come around to our place, and I knock on the door. My wife answers. She's got her hair in rollers, you know, and she's got her bathrobe on, and she can't believe that all these people are here. I mean, there's an entourage. There's like 20 people. And so we all pile into this little motel room, living room, you know, cheap furniture. And I go, what? She can't believe, she's crying and very upset. Elvis hugs her. And he says, "Darling, don't worry, I'm here to take care of things." I mean, that's love, that's compassion. And he settles her down, and then he's telling Felton, who lived about a mile from me out there in the country in Franklin, Tennessee, he said, "Call the sheriff out there and find out what happened. Give us a report." So Felton, this was way before cell phones. So, you know, he's on the phone, a landline, and he's trying to get the sheriff to find out what happened, give him a report. Meanwhile, the kids hear all this ruckus in this room, and they open the door slightly, and they're like stacked up looking out the door from the bedroom at Elvis, and he sees them. He goes in there with them, and I wish you could have seen him that night. It was unbelievable. He had on this leather coat with fur cuffs, and a fur collar, and of course his sunglasses and his big belt and a flashlight about 3 feet long. He had all this, you know, stuff, but it was Elvis, you know. And the kids saw him, they just couldn't believe it. Well, he saw them and went into their bedroom and sat on the bed with these kids. And he started talking to them. And he said, "Look, I know you know, we're here because your house in Tennessee has been broken into." And he said, "I just want to tell you, if they took your bicycles or any of your toys or anything that you loved and you know that was really your favorite, you let me know. Write me a note. Let me know." And he said, "I'll replace it better than what you had. I promise you that." And okay, and he said, "Okay," and yeah, they said okay, and he patted them or whatever, and they, you know, he just left them in the bedroom. They still talk about it. Now, you know, the kids are in their 40s and 50s, and they're still talking about Elvis coming into their bedroom that night. To me, that's love. I mean, that's the real deal, and that's what love songs are about. It's about touching people, touching hearts, and making an impression, a lasting, lifelong impression on people. That's a love song.
Elvis didn't just support his fans, he also helped fellow artists. One notable example is Dionne Warwick. Early in her career, Elvis gave her advice and encouragement, helping to shape her journey in the music industry. Elvis had a way in lifting others up, whether they were struggling artists or strangers he just met. His generosity wasn't limited to grand gestures. It was in a way he treated people, making everyone around him feel seen and valued.
While we're name dropping, Elvis Presley did you a big favour once in Vegas.
Oh, did he ever? You know, I was opening at the Sands Hotel, and he was reopening the International Hotel, the Hilton now. And I went to his rehearsal. My aunt, Sissy Houston, was part of a group called the Sweet Inspiration. They were doing background work for him on his tour. And I just fell in love with this man. I said, my God, I got to meet him. I got to meet him. And Sissy said, okay, I'll introduce you to him. So I went to the rehearsal, and he was such a nice young man to me. I told him I was opening at the Sands. He says, yeah, but we were opening the same night. I said, okay. And he says, well, I'm gonna do something for you that I think you might like. I said, okay, wonderful. He put his photograph in every single album in every record store in Las Vegas for me. I sold more albums because he made the announcement from the stage that if you buy a Dionne Warwick recording, you'll have a photograph of me. I could not believe he did that, but he did.
Did you ever sing with him?
No, I never had the opportunity to do that. But I became friends with him because, funny story, we were in a jewelry store where he shopped, and I did too. It was Christmas time, and they usually closed the store for him to come in and do his shopping. I happened to be in the store when he walked in, so they locked me in with him. Which is okay with me. Anyway, we started talking, and he says, you know, I'm certain you have a wonderful throat doctor. My daughter Lisa has got to have her tonsils out. Do you know of a good... I said, yeah, my doctor. He did both of my boys, and I'm sure he'd be able to do Lisa. And he never forgot that. And Lisa never did either. She says, it's because you aren't having tonsils. Okay.
These stories remind us that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about kindness and the way we make others feel. Do you know more stories like these about Elvis's generosity? Share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if this video moved you, please like, subscribe and share it with someone who would appreciate the human side of Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley gave us timeless music, but he also left us with lessons in compassion and generosity. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope you'll join me next time as we uncover more incredible stories about his life and legacy. See you soon.